In 1932, the Soviet Union designed and built a simple self-propelled artillery named SU-12 on the imported Moreland 6x4 truck chassis, which was equipped with an improved 76.2 mm field gun from 1927. As an early Soviet self-propelled artillery, the Soviet Army was quite satisfied with its performance. However, the expensive price of the imported truck chassis was too much to bear, so not many were produced. In 1934, the Soviet Union began production of the GAZ-AAA truck, a domestically produced 6x4 truck. Its appearance brought hope for wheeled self-propelled artillery, and the following year the SU-1-12 self-propelled artillery began production. Other than the different chassis used, it was basically the same as its predecessor SU-12 in terms of structure. The GAZ-AAA was a light truck with an engine that provided about 50 horsepower. The chassis of the truck was appropriately reinforced by the designers to withstand the weight of the gun and the recoil after firing. The same 76.2 mm field gun was mounted on the truck bed, equipped with a rotating base and a large gun shield structure with slightly extended sides, made of only 4 mm thick steel plates, which provided a worrying level of defense. Due to the obstruction of the front cab, the gun could not fire at a lower angle of 360 degrees, and firing at a higher elevation towards the front would cause the shock wave to damage the cab. Therefore, the designers installed a thin steel plate on the top of the cab, and the front windshield had a 2 mm thick louver structure for protection. The main combat weapon of the self-propelled artillery was the gun, and there were left and right armored ammunition boxes installed at the front of the truck bed, each capable of storing 18 high-explosive shells and 18 fragmentation shells. The crew consisted of 4 people, with the driver in the front cab, and the commander, gunner, and loader at the rear gun position. The vehicle did not have standard equipment such as a self-defense machine gun, but the soldiers could carry light weapons for self-defense. The production of the SU-1-12 self-propelled artillery was also not high, with only 51 units, mainly because the Soviet Army found that tracked self-propelled artillery was the future trend. Compared to tracked vehicles, the biggest problem of the SU-1-12 was the lack of armor protection and poor off-road mobility. Fortunately, this self-propelled artillery did not have reliability issues, and when used properly, it could play a significant role on the battlefield. Its first battle was the Battle of Lake Khasan in 1938 against the Japanese Army, which ended in a temporary victory for the Soviet Army. The following year, the Battle of Khalkhin Gol broke out, and the SU-1-12 self-propelled artillery once again took part. They successfully supplied a large amount of ammunition with armored units, and only the Japanese soldiers who had been under attack would know how intense the artillery fire was. In addition, the vehicle also participated in several major military operations of the pre-war Soviet Army, and the performance was quite good. The success of this simple self-propelled artillery is more of a success of the Soviet military concept. Before World War II, the number and equipment ratio of self-propelled artillery in various armies were still low, and the Soviet Union was one of the countries that recognized the value of self-propelled artillery at an early stage. Compared to other armies, it gained an advantage in equipment in prepared frontal engagements. By the time the Great Patriotic War broke out, the few SU-12 and SU-1-12 in the hands of the Soviet Army had been almost completely used up, so they did not have much of a combat record. The SU-1-12 self-propelled artillery had an empty weight of about 3.5 tons, a maximum combat weight of about 4.5 tons, a length of 5.61 meters, a width of 1.9 meters, a height of 2.32 meters, a maximum road speed of about 60 kilometers per hour, a maximum range of about 200 kilometers, a firing rate of about 10 rounds per minute, and a maximum range of about 4,200 meters.